Like, how do we get them here on the second and get them working towards their goals?
I have goals, man.
We're going to figure out right here how to get them out and how to get the money moving towards it today. Good stuff. Jordan, how are you doing, Jordan?
I am awesome. How are you?
We're great. You got your other half with you?
He's supposed to, well, not with me. He's supposed to be getting on in his car. He's driving today, so
Yeah.
he better be here.
Yeah, we're this is important stuff today we're working on.
Yeah. Yep.
This is everything. So the Abners are said, well, how do you get to a 4-part when we had a 3-part? That's it's because we need a 4th part to this. Gotta takes time to work through your financials. I figured today would be a light group coming first day off out of the year. Everyone's supposedly busy or they're still laying in bed. It's normally one or the other. So we'll give everybody a couple minutes to get in here. Miss Tracy, how are you doing?
Amazing. How are you?
Good. Did you get that board updated
You see
behind you?
my board's done.
Done.
My board is completely done.
What did you find by doing the board? What did you see? What do you see when you look at that?
I see actually organization now. So I was actually talking to someone today about the board and about the planning, and they looked at me with two heads like, well, why would you do that? I said, so I can have a life. That's why I would do that. So I have my vacations already scheduled in there each quarter, have my days off scheduled in there. I have even for my lead generation, I do 3 different baskets on different days. I have that in there. So I'm loving it.
You got it.
And I have days off now.
You do not.
I do. Yes, my days off are in there also.
You know, there's a difference between a high producer and a high performer. So producing's easy. And don't get me wrong, there is some difficulty to it, but producing's easy. It's living a good life while selling a shit ton of homes. That's what's hard. That's really hard. And no one gets enough credit when they do that because they don't see the lifestyle. They just see the production. It's like, well, go live a good life and sell a bunch of homes. That's where you get the awards. You get the fake award when you just sell a lot of homes. Everyone's like, oh, you're doing so good. And then they're depressed. They're broke. Believe it or not, they're still broke when they sell a bunch of homes. You think it'd be the opposite, but it's not. Just doesn't seem to be how it works for some reason. The more money you make, the more money you spend. Well, Nate, let's get this thing moving here and let's get it moving.
All right. All right, let's dive in. So welcome back or welcome to Cheviron Coaching Live. I think there's people coming in that this is the first time that you've been a part of this. So Cheviron Coaching Live, it's our weekly live training program, right? It's like going to the gym is the way we think about it. You're not going to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds in one visit, right? So you're coming in each and every single week. You're going through the training. It's about consistency. Consistency breeds transformation, and that's what we're about. So a couple housekeeping items. Let's make sure that we're using our electronic hands, using the chat, making sure that we're engaged here. Turn your cameras on. There's a simple rule, that we have at Cheviron Coaching is we will not train or coach on anything that we haven't done ourselves, right? But we can't coach you unless we see you. All right, so make sure you're turning your cameras on and you're engaging and working with the community here. That's live and in person. So again, use the chat, raise your electronic hands. If you haven't done so already, download the Kajabi Communities app, right? And turn on notifications. That's how we stay plugged in with the community. and how you connect with one another. We have people all throughout North America here on this call and expanding internationally as we continue to grow. So how we leverage the community is through that app and through that. So make sure you download that. Um, Recordings, we do record every single session, and we will post the recording within the community itself, but we only keep it up for 1 week. Right? It's about showing up live. That's the habit we want to build. So it's about time blocking on our schedules, showing up consistently week over week. We do take off 1 week. It's our rest week. So we run a run rest cycle. And so 1 week a month, we take a break, and then we run for 3 to 4 weeks. We'll keep the schedule up to date within the community and make sure we're communicating there. So with that, let's dive in. Austin, the floor is yours.
Love it, love it. So if you were here a couple minutes early, you would have found Abner's gave it away. We are on now part 4 of a 3-part series. It's kind of how we do it sometimes, guys. We're on part 4 here of a 3-part series of money. And with having our agent success program recorded now, I have a little more freedom and flexibility for those who've trained with us for years of really dialing in the material to best serve you where you're at. Okay. And so what I wanted to do to top off the year and then to start the year today was to work on just money. And I was trying to figure out how many modules would it take me to get the thought through with money, which is so far the first time was personal, right? You guys went through the personal. If you haven't sat through that, go through that. It's still there. We've kept that for everybody in the meetups. The second part was still personal, believe it or not, because that's how hard personal finances are. Okay, I'm telling you, the personal finances are extremely hard. Our third part, we got into being the CFO of your business. Okay, which is the businesses. If you run a good business, your expenses are 6 figures easily if you run a good business. And no matter how high that climbs, it seems like the expenses keep creeping up to you. You guys know what I'm talking about if you run a good big business. If you don't run a big business, just let you know, as you do, the expenses just climb with it. You have to fight to keep those low. And then today I wanted to work on investments for a couple reasons. One, it's the cherry on top. Okay. The investments is truly the cherry on top. It's what everybody wants to talk about. And it was a great hook to make sure that you come to today's training, because today is the day that most people take off. Right? It's January 2nd. Who trains on January 2nd? Well, we do. That's why we're here. And so what a perfect way to start the year with your vision. Okay. So when we talk about investments, and today, the first half of today is going to be an open conversation. Feel free to communicate and talk if you're willing to be a little vulnerable with the group and yourself. You will not know all these. I'd be very surprised if everybody has this dialed down. This is going to be a tougher conversation today. But it's going to be important coming off to the start of the year. A lot of us have reflected over the last week or two on what do we want and why do we want it? Right? I hope that's coming, which is what do I want out of life? Here's 2024. It's a new start to a new year, but in all reality, it's the same shit you had a week ago. It didn't go, your baggage didn't go away. Okay. It's the same stuff that you've had. It's just now you get to refresh mentally on what part of your baggage do you want, what don't you want, and what do we need to do? And so when I talk about investments, let's use your electronic hand here. I want to get some good interaction the first 20 so minutes here. What's the purpose of investments? Okay, think about that. Let's get some hands up here. I'm going to ask some questions. You can use the chat too if that's easier for you. David, hit that little electronic button. We want to make sure you can follow instructions. Yep, that a boy. So the question is what's the purpose of investments? Travis, and keep your answers, just to be clear. Let's make sure our answers are somewhere between 10 and 20, 30 seconds max. So we're not doing 5 minutes a person here.
Just put your money to work while you sleep.
And what's the purpose of that? Why do you need something to work while you sleep?
Well, There's only 24 hours in the day, no matter how much money you have. And so if you want to have the good life, you need to figure out how much you're going to work. And then when you're not working, you need passive income that keeps the lights on and helps you out to, feed your family and do all that fun stuff.
Yeah, there was a couple things he mentioned in there. One was to have a good life, and two, feed your family. Okay, this is what he's getting towards investments. Name, Mr. Name. I was hoping somebody would laugh there. Freiberger, it just says name.
I was gonna say something.
Name. What?
I logged in from my home computer for the first time, so I apologize.
That's okay. Name. Let's
I would say to take care of your future self.
to take care of and why is that important?
It to me, it's about delayed gratification. So delay today so that you can reap the rewards of tomorrow.
Delay today so you can reap the rewards of tomorrow. Why do we need rewards for tomorrow?
So that you're taken care of, so that you take care of your family. So you don't have to work till you're 80 if you don't want to.
Yeah.
So you can be done quicker.
Be done. What are you going to do if you're done quicker?
Enjoy life.
What part of life do you want to enjoy?
Time with my family.
Retirement.
There we go. Okay, we're getting there. This is what today's about, just to let everybody know. David, what's the purpose of having investments?
I would say passive income, so you don't have to work as hard every day to make the money, and then also so you have so you can retire eventually, and the money just keeps on working for itself in the background.
So in one of his first things, David said, just to make sure I hear you clearly, it's so you don't have to work so hard, right? Now, just to be clear, this group that's in here, these are some hard workers. Okay, you don't hang out with me and be in here if you're lazy. These are the problem people in here that work way too much. But the other side is these people have goals and vision. So what was okay? So David, you said to not work so hard, to have a retirement, and the purpose of the retirement's for what?
Well, so you can rest, I guess. Rest, enjoy, do whatever the heck you want, right? Do stuff you like to do rather than stuff you might just do because you're good at it or it makes money.
Yeah. So rest, okay. And rest to this group is not a thing that existed before really they met me. I would say most of us just ran, and then you hear the run rest cycle, and it's like love at first sight. I can do that, but just remember, if you're going to rest, you got to run hard. There's the key. You got to run hard and rest hard. Mike, what's the purpose of investments?
To buy back your time and put your money to work for you, and to basically free yourself up. So for me, it's not really to rest, but it's to work hard on the things that matter more to me than selling homes or working for a buck. So working on the things that matter.
To get your money to work for you, to buy back your time. Okay, these are some great answers, and I wanted to start with this question to start probing the mind on the second part to this, which really your investments are there to give you something greater than money. Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love money. I love my investments. I'm going to show you exactly what I did, how I do it, and what I currently do. But none of that matters. It really doesn't. And so, because really what matters is, what do you want in life? Like, that is the first question. I would suggest all of you to write this one down. Some of you have done good work on it, and some of you have no clue. And your generic answer will not fulfill you with what you want. I can promise you that. You're going to have to get very clear on what you want in life. And write that question down. What is it that you want in life? Take a second on that. Think about it. What is it that I want in life? And no one wants to retire. Let's be real. Retirement's not a thing. It's really not a thing. It just means you're stopping working. Retirement's not a destination, right? It's what we all think of. Like, I want to get to that point, but why do you want to get to that point? Retirement won't drive you to your destination. If you think, if I ask the question, what do you want in life, Shelly, and you say retirement, I would say bullshit. Right? Like, what does retirement actually do for you? That's what we're looking for. That's what will drive you. Because if retirement would drive you, we would have 98% of real estate agents out of selling real estate because no one can tell them they can't retire. Just retire then. And I can tell you it's exactly the opposite. 98% of real estate agents never retire. They either get too old to figure out how to open up one of those hologram lock boxes. You guys remember me saying that, right? They either do that or they die. Okay? That's the sad reality. So in this group, though, we figure out how not to be that.
So the
group.
chat or the T in so the
Okay?
chat
We figure
or the
out
T
how to get
in
to where
chat
we're trying to get to.
GPT stands for
And so the question
transformer.
is what do you
So
really
it's
want in
just
life?
a generative
Let's go back, raise your hands. I want
pre-trained.
to have an open conversation here about this. And there's going to be a couple more questions here. And by the time in the next 45 minutes, I will wrap this thing up in a bow and I will show you how I actually do this, right or wrong, and what I've done. But it ain't about me. I'm just an example for you in your life. Remember, I'm just in it. One example, right or wrong. If you don't know what you want in life, then your investments aren't going to do shit for you. They won't. They'll just be another headache. So what do you truly want in life? Does anybody have an idea? If so, raise your hand. It's a vulnerable question. Okay. Let's see if anybody else wants to chime in here. Let's just see. Give me a second here. What do you want in life? It's a deep question, not surface level. And it's okay if it's surface level for you right now. I remember I'll pick on Travis. He said the good life. Well, what is that?
Well,
you know, how do you know you're not? No, I didn't call on you yet. I was picking
right.
on you. I didn't call on you. He's ready. He's ready to rock and roll though. But what is that? Because me saying I want to live the good life ain't going to pull me up in the middle of the night. It's not going to help direct me on how much money to invest and where to go and left and right and up and down. It's a feel good, but it's not the thing. And how do we describe the thing? So Mark, I'll start with you.
Mine's pretty easy, man.
Let's do it.
I want to be able to join a country club and golf every day. I just want to be able to hang out at the club and golf, and then be able to go to where my friends are and golf with them.
Okay, what's that? What will that do for you?
What's that?
What will that do for your life?
Oh, it'd make my life very happy.
Okay.
No, honestly, I mean, that's,
It will make his life very happy.
Yeah, I'm not bullshitting you. That's to me, people say the good life. To me, it's getting up, we'll go to the club, have a few drinks, maybe some breakfast, play some golf with people, do a little gambling, have a drink afterwards. I'm a pretty simple guy.
Yeah, we're going to go to two more parts after this. I want to really key in on that because that's getting specific. Angela, let me come to you. What is it that you want in life?
Well, I was able to tweak my answer a little bit after you just made your comments. I was gonna say initially, I was gonna say enjoying life, doing what I want, when I want, with the people that I want to be with. But it really boils down to freedom and choices, like having choices, having options, working when I want to work. If I don't want to work, I don't have to work. And just knowing that things are taken care of. And so I think about rest, rest from all the labors. And now I'm just really doing what I enjoy.
Okay. Some of your answers, I think we're one or two layers of the onion. I want to go 2 or 3 more layers of the onion in, let's say. And so read those back to me once more. And I want everybody to hear this. read them back. It's not that there's a wrong answer here, just to be clear with everybody. Travis, you didn't have a wrong answer, but I want your answer to be like a laser and not like a flashlight. Okay, so let's read them back one more time, Angela, if you can remember them.
So I said, some words I said was rest. I said freedom, options, choices and options. And then I said, doing what I want, when I want, with the people that I want to be with.
Okay, so let's just use that last one. What do you want to do?
I want to travel.
Where do you want to travel?
I want to travel kind of like wherever all over. I'm not like, I don't have a specific target because I travel a lot now, but I just think about, for me, I think about family trips and going to visit friends. When I think about people who retire, they take road trips and you don't have to be back at work at a certain time.
When do you want to travel?
Whenever I feel like it. I want to be able to get up in the morning and be like, I think I want to, hey, there's a football game or a basketball game here. I want to go and check it out and hop on the road or a flight and get there.
Yeah. And then I think you said the last one, you already said with who?
Yeah, so my family, my friends. One of the phrases I have for myself is that I want to create memorable experiences for myself and others. So when I think about taking a flight, I'm talking about first class, just enjoying the experience. When I go to a game, I want to go to the Super Bowl. Something where I can say I've been there, that kind of stuff.
Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Abner's, who in there wants to share? What is it that you want in life?
So we, my wife and I did this together. So we had 4 things that we came up with. So want to spend about $60,000 or $65,000 on an RV to travel half a month every month. Once I say I'm done with real estate or I back out, which will hopefully be, I said I'm putting 62. So we'll see. I'm 54 now.
Okay.
Second one was to go to Ireland because she's part Irish and she's never been. So that was our goal to get that trip done. Third thing is our family is going to plan a trip to go to Puerto Rico in 2025, which is where my parents are. We're all Puerto Rican, so it'll be the first time a whole family goes together. And the last one is to pay our house off.
Bingo.
That we just bought.
That we just bought. I love it. It's okay. It doesn't matter that you just bought it. You can still pay it off.
Yep.
Okay, I like it. You see how specific she's starting to get there? And like I said, this takes some work to get clarity on, okay, what do I want? So good job there. Good job. Andrea, what do you want in life? And Andrea's worked on this before too. So you should have a pretty good answer here.
Oh, well, don't
Not
set
to
me up
judge
like
you.
that. Mine doesn't, I mean, I have lots of specifics and details I could go into.
Give
But
us one.
well, okay, can I take it another direction real quick?
You do whatever you want, 30 seconds.
And then, yeah. So like mine is more about like a feeling.
Okay.
So it can be lots of those specific things. When Angela was talking, I can relate to a lot of that too and feel the same. But like the why behind it, it's like, I want to impact people. Well, that's general, right? But it's like about a feeling. So like you meet somebody where they're at, but they leave feeling better than they came. That kind of impact, which is a huge variety because you can touch people in a lot of different ways. And so that's a big part that drives, I guess, any of those specifics is that why for me.
Love it. And so to answer this again, what is it that you want in life?
To help to leave people better than they are, whether it's like from here to here, make them feel better, improve themselves, whatever that means.
Now she got the second part, which is what I'm going to get to, is the why. She went to the why. The what is a little blurry still.
Well, it's different from Bob to Sue, I mean.
It is. You're exactly right. This is the
different
hard
for my
work.
son Zealand and my daughter Zuri.
This is it. Okay, Shelly, what is it that you want in life?
I want to not be a burden on my son.
Mm.
So
Do that today.
hey, he's my retirement plan. I've got him working. And you know I do. So on my horizon is probably a lot closer than most everybody on here. So at 61, my horizon is shorter. But I want to be able to, my cousin and I have talked about it. We're the same age where we each want to buy a small house, her at the lake up in New Hampshire and me down in Florida. And we'll spend winters in Florida and summers in New Hampshire, and then be free to travel in between, but then be free to explore and learn other things, perhaps dabble back into theater, but be able to take classes and learn, and not have to live off the largest of my son and family, and be able to leave a business to Mark, who's my brother, for everyone on here wondering. No, we're not married. But to be able to leave a business to my brother that he can continue to grow. And I can have residual income off so that he can retire at his time frame. So we have some specific things we're really working on.
Okay, I love it. I just wanted to start with this question today, as it feels like a great time to get clear on what is it that we want. When we talk about goals, when we talk about a new year, and I'm going into investments today, but really the investments are there to fund our vision. That's what they're there for. If you don't have that vision of what you want, then what good is more money going to do? How do you make decisions on your money? And what you want in life should help guide these investments. And I'll go through at the end here the plan and how to do it and what does it look like. I'm going to get there. Like I said, none of that's worth anything if you don't know what you want. And just to be clear, when we talk about the DISC profile, let's use that because that's something we talk about in this group. D's, I's, S's, and C's all have different ways of expressing it. So, and you're hearing a variety of all different types of people here. And they're going to have different ways of expressing and how they feel about it. When you hear the word feeling, that's a different way of expressing something. Okay, and it can be crystal clear where someone else has to have maybe it all teed out. So after you figure out what you want in life, then we have to ask ourselves the next question. Andrea, what's the next question after we figure out what we want?
Why?
Why do we want it? This is getting down into the importance of okay, I figured out what I want. Now why do I want this? What is the purpose behind this? And let's get clear on that. That is the second question I want you guys to write down is what is the reasons I want this? And sometimes what we can do is weed out some of the things that we think are important in life. But what are the reasons? Why do I want this? Why is this important, this outcome that I'm looking for? It's a great time of the year to still sit back and reflect before we hit the gas pedal. Some of you guys are already moving this year. That's great. I want to make sure that we're moving in the right direction. There's nothing like going down. So I'm in Indiana. Okay, when we travel, we go down south in Indiana, especially in the winter. And there's nothing like heading north and then to head south. It's like, I thought it was supposed to get warmer. It's getting colder. It's like, yeah, dumbass, you're heading north. And a lot of us do that. We're going in the wrong direction. So this is the time of year to get that direction tight on, okay, here's where I'm going. This is the outcome I want. And here's why I want it. Because when you put the feeling behind it, it puts it in cement. Like, I know what I want. I know why I want it now. Now, the last thing to do is just say, okay, what's my plan on how I'm going to do this? Okay, when you know what you want and why you want it, now it's like, go get it. And all these things we have in life are essentially just distractions that take us out of the way of getting what we truly want. They're all distractions. Look at I got it here. I got a whole to-do list. I got books and books and books of things I need to do. Well, the things I need to do aren't necessarily getting me to where I want to go. Right? Does anybody relate to this? Yeah, I hope everybody right now. You got 98% of the shit you wrote down isn't what you want in life. Are you catching me here? It's things you need to do, but it doesn't correlate to what you want. And what I want to do is I want to help you just turn a little bit, 2, 5, 10 degrees, and get back on track to this is what I want. When I start talking about a schedule here in 2 weeks, I can't tell you what to put on a schedule and help you figure it out if you don't know what you want. Right? I know what I need to do. Guess what? After this, we need to put this recording up into the meetup. We need to change the verbiage and we need to add the new link next week. Well, why? Why is all that important? Why don't we maybe we just don't do that anymore? You ever think of just quitting some shit? Just like, yep, I ain't doing that anymore. I'm done with that. Well, they'll be pissed at you. Well, then I guess they'll be pissed and they'll have to figure out why it's important to them that they even do it. Remember a handful of weeks ago, I talked about quitting some stuff. Let's quit some stuff. What is it that we want to quit and why? Now, Maria, it's not always quit our job and get a new one. No, that's not what I was talking. Congrats, by the way. But how do we make sure what we're doing aligns with what we want? I feel so many of us have great intentions and then our actions every day just aren't aligning. And then 1 year later, 4 years later, 14 years later, 24 years later, we find ourselves not where we wanted to be. Right? I think a lot of us are looking like, well, shit, I didn't want to get where I'm at right now. I was planning on being somewhere else. Well, what happened? It's probably that we weren't clear enough on exactly what we want, why we wanted it. And then the last part here is we're going to put together a plan on how can we actually achieve it. And I'm talking just through our investments right now. You know, all of us are attached to real estate some way, somehow in here. Either you're in mortgages like Maria or you're selling real estate like a lot of us. We're all attached to it. We all touch it. And real estate's I think it's the largest asset class I think it's actually larger than if you put all of them together. And so we touch it. Is that right, Nate? I got a thumbs up from Nate.
Yep, that's right.
And we touch it. So how can we utilize it to help us get to where we're trying to get to? So I'm going to give me, for example, remember, who remembers our mission statement? Not you, nice, Austin. Oh, not you, Dick. That's look at him now. Mr. Name over there put nice, Austin. That's great. Mike, what's our mission statement? We worked a lot on this. Let's hear you recite it.
To help and show realtors how to live a better life.
To help, thank you, Mike. He said it better than Nate says it. To help and show realtors how to live a better life. Okay? So when we break those down, there's 2 words in there, really 3 pieces: help, show, and a better life. Okay. Help is this first part. I wanted you guys to help each other out. Ask some questions, give some clarity. You know, it's really simple. If anybody wants to go play golf, you know the guy to call right now who's got a vision for golf. Right? Like that might help you. Where should I play? Who should I play with? That might help you right there. To show is this next part. I'm going to actually show you how I've done this in my life. I'm not perfect by any means. I've just seemed to figure some things out. And so the first question is what do I want? Any of you guys ever hear me tell a story about sitting on a rock in Canada? Raise your hands if you've heard me say that. Some of you have. Okay. So Canada's my happy place I go to. Okay. The reason it's happy is because there's not really anybody there other than me, nature, normally one other guy, and I'm fishing just all by myself. I like it. It's a change of events for me. It slows the world down. And in 2016, I went and I was eating my lunch on a rock. It sounds really weird, but it's kind of simple. You need some place to sit. I didn't want to sit in the boat, so I sat on a rock. I looked at the view and I was just talking to God, asking myself, what's important in life? What do I want? And there was two things that came to me. The first was to give. Okay. How can I give? How can I give my life? How can I give my time? How can I give my knowledge? How can I give, and give? Okay. When you ask, what do you want? I want to give. The second part to that is, well, what else do I want? And it became very clear, my second question I asked, which is, well, what's going to stop me from giving? What's going to stop me from that? And the answer was a passive income. I wanted to make sure I had a passive income because if I'm broke, I don't think I'm that nice of a guy. I don't want to test myself. I don't think I think I'd steal before I'd keep giving if I'm broke. Right? I hate to say it, but that's normally what most people do when they're broke. They start to steal. I want to think I'm different, but I don't want to test the waters. Right? So those are the two things. I want to make sure I can give, and I want to make sure I receive a passive income. That's what I want. What's really cool is I happen to have a little piece of that rock I keep with me. I actually have the rock. I stole it from Canada. I don't know if there would be a fine for that, but I took the rock I was sitting on and I took it back home with me to help me remember, what do I want in life? The good news is the rock was it was so big you could have took half of it, no one would have ever known. So I took the rock as a reminder. Okay? Why do I want that would be the next question. Well, one, I don't want to live a life of a regret that says, man, I could have helped more people. I could have done more in my life. I could have been more. I could have helped change the direction of other people's lives. I don't want that. I want to be a guy that's always a plus one to everybody. I hope when you come in here each week that I'm a plus one to you, that I help do something for you. Okay. I relocated it. Thank you, Margot. I did relocate it. And I'm going to drop it back off along with all the other things I took. So we're going to drop them all back off one day. But I want to be a plus one in everybody's life. It's really important to me to live my life that way. You know, have you ever met anybody that was on welfare and then became one of the top real estate agents in the state and then quit? No, because that sounds stupid, doesn't it? Sounds like the most dumb thing anybody could do. Like, why would you go back to not having a job? And the answer is so I could create what I want. I want to create what I want. That's important to me. And I always said, if I got to quit, if I got to go back, I'll redo it again. I can always sell real estate. It's there. It's not going anywhere. There's millions of homes that sell a year. I'd probably be better the second time around than I was the first. Can always go back, but this is what I want. And so when I get into my investments now, this next part is we got to create a map for this. And when I look at a map, I like to look at it like my daughter at the mall. Some of you guys have heard me use this, but it's like my daughter when she goes to the mall. You know what she does? She wants to find stinking Lululemon, Sephora, and all these other places that her dad wants her to stay far, far away from. There's nothing for dad in any of these stores. That brings no happiness to me. None. Buying any of this stuff. Makeup, tight clothes, expensive stuff. But it's like the stuff should be half off because it's only half of a shirt, and it's not, it's triple. You ladies know what I'm talking about here. My daughter's 13. This stuff's getting real now. It's not funny. It's getting real, okay?
It's a little funny.
It's a little funny. Well, it's scary. She hasn't brought home a boy yet, but I'll kill him when she does. So, yeah, it's getting real. So she goes up to the mall and she looks to say, where are these stores? No differently than what you have to do with where you're at in life. Where are you? Where do you want to go? You know, this first part, I was trying to help you determine where is it that I want to go. Some of you guys are really clear. Some of you guys could use a little more clarity, and some of us haven't done that work yet. You know, this is life's work that we're doing either. You're not taught to do this normally. This stuff isn't found in school. This is what you have to learn, and you grow. And the older you get, normally the clearer it becomes. Okay, some of you guys have the gift of being older and wiser than some of us. And that's a gift that you have now because it's getting clearer. Okay, you're willing to fight harder and more and faster for what you want. But where are you wanting to go? And then the next part is, well, where am I at? You know, my daughter goes to Lululemon. On the maps in the mall, it says, here's where I'm at and here's where I'm going. And now she gets that map. Okay, now that I have that map, it's like, okay, I know where I want to go. Now, where am I at? And how I determine where I'm at, I'm going to give you a quick idea, is I get my net worth sheet out. Remember that thing we worked on 4 weeks ago? Some of you guys have been working on it for 4 years with me, but that's where I'm at. Here's what I have. It's my island money. If I sold everything, how much money would I have? I want to figure out where I'm at. It's part of my map. When I determined that I wanted to start investing, the first thing I did, and I would suggest everybody to do, is to seek counsel. Okay, seek counsel. When I'm talking strictly real estate investing today, okay, there's a lot of different other investments. I want to talk strictly real estate investments. And so I seek counsel. And when I was selling real estate, 2016, 17, 18, 19, I went to all my clients that were wealthy and I just asked them a couple simple questions. You've heard me ask these questions before. Couple simple questions, which is one, do you own real estate? I know if you have millions of dollars, you got to own some stuff, right? No one just keeps all the cash. Do you own real estate? And their answer was, I did. Okay? Other than their primary residence. And then I asked them, well, were they rentals? Were they flips? Most of them had rentals at some point. And I asked them the next question, well, why did you sell them? Does anybody know why people sell rentals? You can say it out loud if you want.
It's another job.
It's not a fun job. It is another job. They're a pain in the ass. Yes, they are. And so then I asked them one last question, which is, did you manage them? And they always said yes. So I knew when I created my philosophy around investments that it was really simple. If I did the work, I might not have a long-term investment. Okay, this is huge. My whole philosophy now. When you make money and you save it and you invest it, it's an investment of your money, preferably not your time. That's where I see people go wrong. There's nothing worse than seeing a doctor who does heart surgery for a living become the janitor of his house on 456 Main Street. That's the last thing they want. And guess what? It's the first thing that makes them sell it normally. If you can't step away, and a lot of you guys own real estate on here, okay? If you can't step away from your real estate for a week, 2 weeks, or a month, you just got a nice paying job. That's it. You don't have investments, you have a job. You literally have a job that requires you to work. It might not pay as much, and maybe some of you it pays a little more than selling real estate. So to go back to the philosophy, my philosophy was my investments were going to be an investment of my money, not my time. Now, I know that might sound dangerous for you guys, a lot of you that have to have your fingers on everything all the time and don't trust anybody. Okay, but I knew it would be the only way it would work for me for my lifestyle and for my investments is to ensure that I did not make this an investment of my time. I did that. Some of you guys have heard my story. I bought my first house when I was in high school when I was 18. Okay. My dad literally kicked me out. I bought his listing and I moved into my first house when I was 18 in high school. I didn't know for 5 years the furnace had a filter. I don't remember the first 5 years living in my house. It was like a college party that never ended. Okay. I owned rentals when I was 19, 20, 21, and 22. I bought about 6 rentals with my father. And I was the property manager. I collected rent. I pride myself. Everybody paid me every month. And I remember getting the calls at 2 in the morning. I remember going and doing all the job, and I did it all. I learned everything I could learn about the house. I did it all. And then we sold them all. And then coming back into my mid 30s when I was going to get into investing again, I knew this time for me to keep these that they couldn't be an investment of my time. I knew that would kill my investments. Okay, and once again, I'm just showing you my way right now. This might not be the right way for you, but I can promise you, I've interviewed a lot of people that their investments were an investment of their time too, and it didn't work out in the long run for them. Okay, that wasn't the vision of the job that they wanted their whole life. Once again, your investments are to fund whatever you said earlier. They weren't for you to have another job, right? No one said that. Did anybody say that I want to own a whole bunch of real estate so I can have another job? I didn't hear that come out of anybody's mouth. But yet that's what we normally do, right? It's what we normally do. So create the map. I told you, first thing, get your net worth sheet out. Figure out, what do I have? It's like a puzzle. When you do the puzzle, the first thing you do is you turn over all the pieces. Take them all out of the box. You can't do a puzzle with all the pieces in the box. You got to take them all out, turn them over. This is work we did a month ago with your net worth sheet. That's why I was talking about this. Okay? That way I can acknowledge what I have. And a lot of you will be like looking in the mirror naked. Like, damn, I don't look as good as I thought I looked. Or it could be the opposite. Man, I look good this month. I thought I was a little heavier. Well, I stopped eating out the last 60 days. Okay, it's just an acknowledgement of where you're at. Take ownership of what you've done, good or bad. It doesn't matter. If you don't know where you're at right now, we can't improve it. The next part, after I get into my net worth sheet, the next thing that and this is all the work I did. 1, where am I at? 2, how am I going to create a system to systematically save money? How is that possible? I haven't seen really any other real estate agents do this in my 30 years of being around real estate agents. I haven't really seen any of them do it. So how am I going to do that? I can't be like everybody else. That's not my path. I have to be the exception. I have to be the guy that gets there for me. I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't want to be 73 years old and showing houses because I love people, which is a bullshit answer. Really, I'm 73 and showing houses because I'm broke. That's the reality. It's not because I like people. If you like people, go to church. Talk to them there. It's a great place. We're showing houses because we didn't take care of our money, which is okay. But now we got to get this ship straight. So I had to create a system to save my money. Does anybody know the system that I created? Does anybody know the system? Yeah, I know you know it, Freiberger. Thank you for not answering, Andrea. Thank you. Hang on. I want to let someone else. I want to stir their minds real quick. What system was created? Alex Taylor. What system? Nope. Angela beat you. She saved your butt. Saw you looking around. You should know this shit. Angela, what system was created to help me systematically save my money?
Oh, okay. When I heard you rephrase it, I thought you meant with regard to your investment properties.
Okay. But how do you get to that? All of us here would love to have investment properties, but in all reality, you're not going to get there if you don't create a system to save your money.
I would say automatic transfers into your savings account.
Yeah, well, it sounds so good, but the reality is my expenses are way too high to have automatic transfers. There's no money left. Multiple streams of I have 7 multiple streams of revenue, and it seems like every month I owe money. Right? That's reality. Nate Ammon said it. I'm going to show you guys this once more. Module 5 of our agent success program. And this one's just a little more complicated because I get into the giving and dream. But this was it right here, guys. Let me let that go away. This was the system that I created to ensure that I saved money. As you see, this account over here, number 3 is investments. If you're not systematically saving your money, you're not going to have any. Your good wishes, your intent will not get you there. Unfortunately, it won't. I've been around way too long. I've seen too many examples. It will not get you there. You got to have a system. Now, how does this whole thing work? It works like we did 4 weeks ago. It starts with your personal expenses. And a lot of us, when we were doing that, you're like, God, this is such boring work. I don't want to do this. I don't want to look into my personal stuff. Well, if you're not willing to address what you're not doing right, you're never going to get to what you want. It's just too hard. That's why this is a 4-part series. You guys would love for it to be a 1-part series. How do I get financially free? Right? You'd love for it to just be today. But in all reality, it can't be today because, Angela, you can't have a systematic approach to saving money when all your money is going out. Because you will burn your future for today. You'll burn it. I've watched year after year after year of people spending all their money with all great intent. So we create a systematic approach to save our money. And now once we save that money, then what happens? Where does it go? Okay, that's going to be the next part here. I want you to get into understanding the balance of your ratios. Okay, this is huge. It's the balance of your ratios between your net worth in real estate, stock, and cash. Okay, here's what I mean. If you do your net worth sheet, and let's say it says $100,000. How much of that $100,000 do you want in cash? There is a portion that you should have in cash. How much do you want to have in stocks? And how much do you want to have in real estate? And I want you to be able to answer this question because it gives you balance and direction. Real estate's gone up a lot over the last couple of years. How much do I have in real estate now? If I have 100,000, is 20,000 of my 100 in real estate, or is it 90? I was always a 70, 20, 10 guy. 70% in real estate, 20% in stocks, 10% in cash. I'm not necessarily suggesting it. I'm just showing you what I've done. I like real estate. I'm in it. I can touch it. I know it. I don't get stocks. I don't get how shit goes up and down in the stock world. I have no clue. I don't have any control over it. You can't call someone and tell them to raise their stock value. But I can go into my real estate and I can control my real estate really easily. So what percent do you want in stocks, real estate, and cash? What does that look like? Gives you a direction. It will change in time. I can promise you. It will change. Okay, after you have that, now it's time to attack. Okay, it's time to go. So what happens is when you let me show this picture again. Here's what attacking looks like for me. I make $100,000 in gross commission, let's say. Okay, I make $100,000 in gross commission, goes into my deposit account. I move 20% over of everything that comes into my deposit account into my investments. 100,000 comes in, 20% moves over. So now I have $20,000 in my investments. Okay, the money sits there until I'm ready to deploy it. It sits in this account. It acts as a reserve until I'm ready. Okay, reserve account for maybe something else I need. Money sitting there until it's ready to go. I have $20,000. Now, where is it going to go? Okay. I know if I set a goal to buy a rental property, let's just say one this year, I know that I have money and that it needs to go out to a rental property. Okay. I'm going to tell you how I bought my first rental property. Is in 2019, I set a goal to buy one house. I'm ready. I'm ready to get back in it. And this might be exactly where you're at today. This year, 2024, your goal might be to buy one property. Okay. If it is, welcome. You're now here. 2019, my goal was to buy one property. Do you know what month I bought that one property? Would be your guess. Use the chat. What's your guess in which month I bought that property? Let's have a couple people guess here. I want to see what you're thinking. Okay, January, December, late 19, just before COVID. January, December, June. Oh, we got a June. I like it. April. Well, in all reality, there's something called Parkinson's Law. Some of you guys remember Parkinson's Law. I've talked about it. That's what happens with our goals. If you've set a goal this year, what will happen is Parkinson's Law will take effect, which says what time you give it to, it will expand to. That's called Parkinson's Law. Remember back in high school when your high school paper was due and what day you did it on? Mike, you know what day you did your high school paper? Yeah, I did. It was the last one. No, Mike might have been a good student. I don't know. But it was always the last day for me. I bought my first rental in November. Okay. I could have bought it in February if I would have had my mind on that it was time to buy it. And so here's the reality of what happened. I said, shit, I got to buy a property this year. That was one of my goals. And so what happened is I got a call for a listing. Instead of looking for it like I should have, I got a call. It said, hey, I was referred to you. I got a house I want to sell. My son lives in it currently. I'm like, oh, okay. So I went over, I looked at the house, and I'm like, a light bulb went off that says, oh shit, I'm looking for a house. Maybe I should buy this. I don't have many options left. And I ended up buying it off of my client and not selling the property. That's how I bought my very first house. Now, it just so happened that I went to the bank and the bank's like, I could give you some money, but it's going to take some time. And I'm like, this lady wants to close like in 2 weeks. Right? And so what did I do? I got some private money on that one. I called somebody who I knew. I said, hey, you know I'm a good loan. I make good money. I'm a good loan. Can you loan me some money? I got a little private money on that deal. Help me fund my first rental. Okay. If this year's the year you want to buy your first rental, my suggestion to you is turn your reticular activator on right now. Because I bet in 2019, there was 5 or 6 homes that I didn't even think about that I could have bought that would have been hell of rentals right now. So if your goal is to buy one, turn your reticular activator on right now. After I bought that one, I'm like, oh, I like this. This is a good feeling. I now own real estate. My reticular activator's on. Next thing you know, I talked to my property manager and she said, I have 9 properties you could buy. I'm like, 9? Shit, I was only looking at buying a couple. And she goes, it's actually easier to buy a lot than it is to buy a little. Like, how could that even be? She's like, well, we could package them all up in one. Should you just have one closing and one set of fees? You don't even have to do anything. And I'm like, well, how do I determine if I buy 9 properties? Who could help answer that right now? How would I determine if I buy 9 properties? I go back to what do I want? What do I want? I want to have a passive income so I can keep giving. Should I buy these properties? Yes. They help provide a passive income. Yes. Well, the next question is what's my business, what's my investment philosophy with real estate? This is not an investment of my time. It's only an investment of my money. Right? You guys remember my philosophy. So I'm like, well, I would love to buy these, but I'm not allowed to look at them. Think about that for a second. I'm a real estate agent. I'm like, well, I can't look at these. How would I determine if I could buy these? I'm like, well, what do you know about these? And she said, well, I manage them all. I know everything about them. I'm like, huh, okay. So you're telling me I could buy these? You already know what they are. You know what you've done to them, and I wouldn't have to do anything? She said, absolutely. Bingo. I bought 9 properties. They help fund my lifestyle. They provide me a passive income so I can continue to give. Now my reticular activator is really on. Now, next thing you know, I get a call about a handful of months later from one of my clients that says, hey, I'm moving to California in 2 weeks. I'm like, that's great. He goes, I got 2 houses I want to sell. I'm like, I'd love to sell 2 houses for you. Right? Shit, give me 2 houses. I'll knock those out of the park. And he says, there's this one thing, Austin. I go, what's that? He goes, I want my money before I leave. I'm like, in 2 weeks? He said, yep. I go, well, that's going to be a problem. It takes 30 days to close. How do you expect for that to get done? And he said, I don't know. That's why I called you. You'll figure it out. I'm like, okay, do some math. And I call him back. I go, well, there's only one way I figured out how we could close. And we have 11 days as of now. So there's only one way I could figure that out. He goes, what's that? I go, well, I would have to buy them. And he goes, well, how much you offering me? I said, 93,000 a house. He goes, call it sold. I'm like, holy shit, I just bought 2 more. Okay. My reticular activator was on. I knew what I wanted. I knew why I wanted it. Okay. I never looked at either one of these houses. They were within a mile of where I grew up. Never been on the inside of them since I've owned them, still to this date. I just took my son by them and drove by them. Took me 5 minutes to find one of them. He goes, Dad, you're really bad at what you do. I'm like, it's around here somewhere, son. I remember. It's got another garage. He goes, you're really bad. And I'm like, well, no, I just don't pay a lot of attention to these. He's like, well, why? And I go, son, this is an investment of my money, not my time. So at that point, I own 13 rental properties. I'm going to share a screen with you here. This is my private financials that I'm going to show you how I keep track of this. Let me show you these. I'm going to run over today. If you got to go, you got to go. But today's important, so I'm going to keep moving. Here's my properties. First house I bought. This is all public information for the most part, too. First property I bought right here. Oh, shit, I did buy it in February. Look at my stories all wrong. I had a goal of, sorry, let me back up here. My goal would have been 2018. I closed, wrote a contract in December, closed in February because I didn't get the money right away. That's crazy. But look at this. I paid, there we go. I paid $55,000 for that house. It rents for $1150. It's worth about $130, $140 today. Here was the 9 properties I bought. I got to check this. This means I got to check it. I bought 9 properties. Okay. These 9 properties, I paid $314,000 for. Today, these 3 properties are worth $784,000. These 9 properties. I collect an average rent of $6,600. They fund my lifestyle. Okay. Why do these? Here's the 3 properties. Remember these 2 I told you I bought for 93? They're worth 160 now. They pay $1,100 to $1,300 in rent. I've only been inside of this house on Russell because I was going to list it. All these other houses I've never been inside. The reason why is because this is an investment of my money, not my time. Now, some of you might say it seems a little risky, doesn't it? Not to look at houses. You're a licensed real estate agent, Austin. It seems a little risky. Yeah, well, there's risk on looking at them and there's risk on not looking at them. The risk, if I look at them, I might not be able to be here today with you. I might have to go do something. I might have to manage them. Okay? There's a risk either way in life. And sometimes you have to trust people. You have to trust them. You got to trust that certain people will get you there. Now, I'm not telling you don't double check things. No one likes spending the hundreds of thousands of dollars and not knowing. But I can tell you today, as of today, I still have 46 rental properties. I've done more work in the last 2 months on them, thinking about them, than I have in 5 years. Okay. They fund my lifestyle. If I get hit by a car on the way home today, our house payment's paid next month. Okay. I share that with you guys to help you go back to, you can't make decisions on should I buy what it's hard to make all those decisions when you don't know what you want. You got to know what you want. For me, when my son graduates, I want to be financially free. What does that mean? It means I can work the rest of my life for free if I choose to. I don't need the money. Okay, that's what I want. I want to be able to give. I want to be able to receive a passive income so I can keep giving. Very important. When we look at investments and we look at real estate, the question is why? What do I want? Why do I want it? When you can figure those two out, now it's time to attack. Don't wait around. Another year will go by really quick. It's 2024, and a year from now will be 2025. It will go by quick. Get your systems in place. First thing is acknowledge where you're at. Get your net worth sheet out there and say, here's all my shit. Worst case, if you die, people know where all your stuff's at least, right? Get your net worth sheet done. Know what you have. Now you know the pieces of the puzzle. You know what you have to how to move them. If you have large equity in your house, maybe you do a HELOC on your house and take money out for the down payment on your first rental. Hint, hint. A lot of us have got a lot of equity lately. Now you're going to be borrowing money against yourself at 9%. But better to borrow at 9% and maybe get an investment moving than not have any investments at all. That's up for you to decide. Figure out what you have. Acknowledge what you have. Your net worth sheet will help. Second is create a system to help you save money. You have to have a system. And the number one attacker for your system is your personal expenses. It's your number one public enemy. Number one is your personal expenses. That's why I spent 2 hours going over your personal expenses. Because where every one of you want to go, what you told me today, what you want out of life, the thing that's stopping you from getting there is you. That's it. How sad is that? You're the one messing it up. Now, the great news is you're the one that can solve that problem too. You can solve it, but it takes work. It takes the last 4 weeks we've spent training on money. I'm giving you the map on how to do the work to help you get to where you want to go to. Help and show realtors how to live a better life. It's a damn good life to know when you wake up on the first of the month that there's a check there waiting for you. It's a good life to have that. Okay, and that's where we want to get to. Acknowledge what you have, create a system, and then attack. Okay, there's your cherry on top for your finances. Sorry to run over a little bit for you guys, but I want to help you guys get there. I do. I'd love to have a story of this whole group one day doesn't do this anymore. Could you imagine that story? It's like we all just now impact the world and help people because we're financially free. And if you've read the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, Babylon was the richest city in the world because they were the wisest. So it takes wisdom, it takes studying, it takes being in here. Over the last 4 modules we've had, these 4 times training together, some of this work you just don't get other places. You definitely don't get it packaged. And a lot of times you don't get it packaged by someone who actually did the work and does the work. You get somebody selling you shit that they've never done. They're selling you a hope and a dream, and they have no clue when the road veers if they go right or left and why. Okay? I'm giving you guys everything I know. I'm giving you everything I have. I'm telling you how I got there. The only thing I ask you is if you found someone who knew the ways that could show you the success that has it proven, would you follow them? Would you do the work? And if the answer is yes, then start doing the work. We left the last three weeks worth of training. It's been a month now. We left that up for you in the meetups in Kajabi for you to go back and listen to. Okay. We left it there. Go back and listen to it. Well, I'll leave it up until next week until Bussy comes. But go back, listen to it again. It's boring. It sucks. That work sucks, just to be clear. It sucks, but it's worth it. I can promise you, if you go through the suck, if you drive through the mud, when you get to the other side, it's rainbows and sunshine. I can promise you. Do the work. I'll see you next week with Iron Panda. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.